friends. Today I'm going to tell you how I do meal planning. If you hate the idea of spending hours on a Sunday, hours creating your meals so that you can eat healthily throughout the week, this is for you. I'm going to have my top 5 tips for how to do that and how I've lost the weight. I'm going to show you how I do that without tracking every single calorie, without making every single meal plan in advance and really fitting it into my life. So if you're ready to find out how you can lose weight with me the same way that I have, I'm here to give you the tips. So here we go. First of all, I want to kind of tell you how I came up with this plan. I used to every single Sunday say, I am going to, so I have done this several times. I joined Plate Joy, I did Meal Mentor, I've done a number of different, I think I was on emails at one time, plan out all these recipes, print out all these recipes, and I'd start making them. I'd go through 2 recipes and I'd get pissed off because I don't want to spend hours and hours doing this, because halfway through the week, my plans are going to change. My mind is going to change. I may be craving something else. I don't want to follow up. Monday at lunch, you're going to have this, and Friday at lunch, you're going to have this, and Saturday at breakfast, you're going to have this. Like, I am not a rigid person. I'm not a rule follower. So if you're not either, this is really going to help you, because this has really helped me. And that's how I've lost 32 pounds. So 32 pounds may not sound like a ton in a year, but the thing is, I see those videos of people who have lost, 100 pounds in a year, and they were super strict. They're at the gym all the time, and good for them. Like, yay, props, but not my jam. Like, I know that if I do it this way and I find a way that I can keep long term, even if it takes me 2-3 years to lose the weight, long term, I will keep this up, and this is the way I'll be able to do it forever and get to the weight I want to be and feel good and feel healthy forever. So I wanted to pass on those tips. One thing, my number 1 tip is always be thinking about protein. And as a vegetarian, this can be hard. For me, this has been hard. And for me, kind of thinking about it at the beginning of the day really helps, because otherwise you're trying to make up for it at dinner, and then it's really hard to do that, because my targets, just to give you an idea of how I do this, are around 1,600 calories a day, under 50 grams of fat, under 185 grams of carbs, and I try to get at least 90 grams of protein. And when I first started tracking this, what I noticed was it was really, really, really hard for me to get 90 grams of protein. So I have to make a concentrated effort to start my day out that way and go the rest of the day that way. So some of my easy things that I do are, edamame is one. Like, I am lazy as shit, so I get the shelled edamame and I throw it into pasta. Sometimes I'll eat it as a snack by itself. I throw it into salads. But, if I look at it, you've got 100 calories for half a cup, and that's 10 grams of protein, which compared to most vegetarian sources is way better than a lot of what you're getting, right? So another thing is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is awesome in recipes. It's awesome in the place of sour cream, but by itself kind of blows. Like, I'm not a fan. So I'm really into like these mix-ins. Like, there's a lot of different, I like all the brands, but Chobani just came out with one that's lower sugar, and that definitely helps support my diet goals a lot more. They also have mix-ins for cottage cheese that you can do. I do 1% cottage cheese by itself a lot, but a lot of times I'll take Greek yogurt or cottage cheese and I'll mix in just a tablespoon of jam or a tablespoon of nuts or something to shake it up so it's not so boring and plain and bleh. So, breakfast for me has always been the hardest thing protein-wise, because as a vegetarian, you're like, I want to eat pancakes and cereal and milk and things that are all carbs, no protein, and they don't really help support your goals in the end. The second thing is, you don't have to be perfect. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep at it, you'll show progress. Like I said, I lost 32 pounds in a year. For some people that may not be enough. For me, that's great, because I'm moving forward. So as long as I'm moving forward, as long as I'm getting there, then we'll get to the goal, right? And so that's the best thing. I'll be honest, I ate Taco Bell for lunch today. because I had cottage cheese for breakfast. I was working on projects all day. By 3 p.m. I hadn't eaten lunch. I was like, oh crap. So the difference though is I knew I ordered a bean burrito and a cheese quesadilla. I knew how not to blow it. Like I didn't get the box that's like 1,000 calories in and of itself, which honestly I can never finish anyway. Which before I started this, I could finish everything and anything, and incorporating more protein fills you faster, and you learn to stop, and then you go, oh my God, I can't believe I used to wipe my plate clean no matter what. Like it's ridiculous. And so you kind of learn not to do that, which is a really nice thing. But you don't have to be perfect. Like as long as you do your best to stay with whatever your targets are, and your targets don't have to be the same as mine. I want you to know I'm 5'10". So your calories may be a little lower. You probably don't have to go as high on the protein. But there is a setting in MyFitnessPal where you can set that. Mine's a little higher than the preset settings as far as protein, but the preset settings do pretty well. And they're based on having absolutely no physical activity. What I try to do is not count my physical activity so that I keep within my calories. And if for some reason I'm counting wrong, or there's some sort of, like I walked 10,000 steps that day and my calories look right, but maybe I forgot to track something, then there's some room there for leeway. But as long as you keep going, that's the thing. Never give up, and every situation is recoverable. I don't care if you binge your ass off for a whole day, as long as the next morning you're like, okay, what can I have that's gonna be good protein? How do I get back to tracking? This is part of how I made it through the holidays. I only gained 6 to 7 pounds over the holidays, which sounds ridiculous, but a lot of people gain 10, 15 pounds and don't rebound, right? So I made sure Christmas Day, I'm gonna splurge, but the next day I'm going back to my normal thing. And I kind of veered off here and there, but I never ever said, oh, screw it, I'm gonna eat whatever I want from Thanksgiving through New Year's, right? Because then I wouldn't have come back to where I am. I am right about where I started, before the holidays. So I haven't quite pushed through that plateau to keep losing yet. But in past years, I would be God knows how many pounds up, discouraged, not losing, not ready to move forward. So never give up. The third tip I want to give you today is you don't have to measure everything. At first, it's a little bit more important because you're not necessarily aware of what the measurements of things really are to track them. But for me, I need to track the things that I tend to go overboard on. So I track, for sure, I measure cheese, I measure, butter, I measure peanut butter. If you're noticing, a common thread here, I measure anything that's high fat because I have a tendency to go overboard on those things. Pasta, anything that's really high carb, I definitely tend to measure. Another trick I have is once you learn the measurement by container, then you can kind of do it that way, right? So, and I'll tell you why I do this later. I do salad for lunch, not all the time because I'd lose my mind because I get crazy bored with monotony, but I do salad a lot for a particular reason. And so salad dressing is one that people tend to think 2 tablespoons is way more than it is. So I have this container that my friends actually got me randomly for my birthday. I don't know, freaking 7, 8 years ago, because they knew how much I love containers. So I know that when I put salad dressing in this particular container, 2 tablespoons is half of this teeny container, right? And so I don't measure salad dressing anymore because I know that's how it works, and this is the container I need to use, and I'm good to go. I also have these ones, which are, I believe they're Snapware is the brand. I'll put the link in the video. A friend of these mine got these for me because she heard from someone they were great for meal planning, and she was very right because at the bottom they say what they are, right? So this one is 1.25 cups. So if I'm looking to do 3/4 of a cup of 1% cottage cheese, which I do a lot as a snack or something to bump up my protein, I just fill it halfway, and then I don't have to pull out the measuring cup, don't have to worry about it. You know, it's super close, so it's good enough. My fourth tip is you don't have to count everything. I know like nutritionists are probably shitting their pants. I'm not a nutritionist. I am just telling you what works for me and how I've done it. So I don't count like vegetables. Okay, I don't count certain vegetables. I don't count lettuce. I don't count tomatoes. I don't count things that don't have a high sugar or carb content. So like if I have an avocado or a sweet potato, I'm gonna count that. But I'm not gonna track lettuce. It's freaking 20 calories and like no carbs. Who gives a shit? It's really not gonna make a difference in my daily tracking or my weight loss or, you know, anything like that. I also don't track alcohol because it stresses me the F out. Like it just does. Like if I wanna drink, I make sure that my calories are in the acceptable range. I try to get more steps that day. I try to go to the gym. I try to work out and try to, you know, make up for it in that way. Because if I sit there and track individual drinks, it's gonna stress me out more and break me to the point where I wanna give up. And if that's the case for you, I suggest not doing it. However, don't drink bullshit, right? So don't be drinking daiquiris. Don't be drinking, like if you like alcohol or if you like malts or just no, like, okay, you have to count that. But I drink red wine, I drink Bacardi and diet or rum and diet or light beer. Like those things are, as long as you're active, gonna be fairly low calorie, low carb, and you're gonna be okay. So I don't count those in my tracking, and I've still been able to lose weight. So that's how I do it. And my last tip is you can meal prep to fit your life. So you don't need to go out and spend $300 on your groceries. You don't need to go buy, you know, the main thing for me, if I'm feeling like I'm lacking things, it's I make sure I have the basic proteins. I have some protein powder, I have some cottage cheese, some Greek yogurt. As a vegetarian, some of the fake meats. Sometimes I'll do like veggie hot dogs as a, you know, snack to make sure I'm bumping up my protein. As long as those things are in your house, you can pretty much make it work with whatever's in your fridge or if you're eating out. I find that, you know, sticking to you need to eat these particular foods is way too complicated for me and it doesn't work out in the long run. So here's how I do it. My tracking, it depends on my mood, it depends on my energy, right? It depends on my schedule. So I do it based on all those things. So if I don't have anything going on that night, I am going to pack my food for the day before. If I'm really freaking exhausted, I just make sure to include protein and I don't track what those calories were until the next day, or I do it the night before. But either way, I do that and then I figure out before I eat dinner what is gonna add up to be in my targets for dinner, okay? So I go to work and I, let's say, am terrible and eat a lot of carbs, eat a lot of fat, whatever. I may have to work out when I get home to make sure that those targets are still on track, that, you know, because I'm not going to starve myself at dinner because that's stupid, right? If I know that I'm going out to dinner with my friends that night, if I know that I'm going out drinking that night, I'm gonna pack a salad for lunch. And this is what I referenced before, because I know it's gonna keep my carbs low, because if I know I'm eating more carbs later, then that'll balance out. But I still track it. Sometimes if I have a just go for it meal, which isn't that often, maybe once a week, I still track during the day to make sure I'm on track, and then I kind of let myself do what I want for that one meal, and then I go right back into trying to stay on my targets, because I feel like for me anyway, my biggest problem was making excuses. It's a special occasion, it's a holiday, it's a birthday, I feel bad, you know, like whatever it was, I would make all the excuses till the excuses were all the time, and I would eat whatever the F I wanted all the time. So for me, it's never give up. Keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward. You can splurge sometimes, cool, but just go back to it, right? Even on vacation, like I hear people say, oh, I can't diet on vacation. It's not dieting, it's just not being a glutton. It's not like losing your shit entirely, you know? If you're on vacation and you just need to eat a protein bar for breakfast so that you can eat some splurgy stuff later, cool. Like make compromises along the way that you need to make things work for you and be the healthy self that you want to be. So I hope that this has helped you today. I'll be posting videos from now on every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, so watch out for those. Please share with your friends if you felt this was helpful and subscribe below. Also, I encourage you to visit my Instagram and our Facebook because I do share different tips I have for easy meal ideas and how you can boost the protein and lose weight. And it's a great place for you to ask me any questions you have and for us to share ideas and for vegetarians to connect.